Hi everyone, my name is Mark Deary and I'm a filmmaker. Right now I'm working on a documentary called Confessions of a Failed Filmmaker, where I'm going to talk about the last 20 years as a filmmaker. I made my first feature film 20 years ago. And yeah, I'm on leave from work at the moment, so I'm making a documentary talking about that. I'm doing, as part of it, a series of 100 videos in 100 days. So I'm working through the days, talking about different topics relating to just filmmaking in general and life in general. And today I thought something that we're talking about would be getting your crap work out of the way as quickly as possible. So I don't know if you've heard about this concept before. Basically, when you start any new creative endeavor, you're inevitably not going to be good at it, right? And I talked about this in another video about the Ira Glass video where he talks about taste. It's like when you first get into something, when you're first compelled to make something. So say, you love comic books and you're like, I really want to make a comic, or you love film and you're like, I want to make a movie, or you love music and you're like, oh, I really want to play guitar. The thing that compels you to start making or start wanting to do something, in that medium or, on that instrument or whatever it is, generally is you have better taste or you have taste that you're passionate about compared to your friends. So, like you might be the person who, when you go to the movies, all your friends say, hey, what should we see? Or, the person who, when it comes to comics, like which comic should I read or whatever, I don't know, music, same thing, like who's the artist I should listen to? And your taste is something that you've realized people actually do care about, or that you have a fairly refined taste. So all of a sudden you decide, I want to make stuff. But the problem is, and this is what the Ira Glass video talks about, that when you start, like your abilities are nowhere near matched to your taste. And it takes quite a long time, depending on the person, until your abilities can match your taste. And it starts that when you set out to make something creative, it comes out like you hoped it would. Like when you're a beginner, you kind of have to fail. And a lot of people talk about this, like fail fast, fail often is a quote. And yeah, when you're first beginning, you kind of usually the thing that compels you to do is some massive project. So like a good example for me is when I was in undergrad at uni, I had a game company on the side, and we had this idea. It was the greatest idea for the greatest game ever. And I realize now, and I would give myself this advice, and I've given this advice to students when I was a teacher, that it's like just save that perfect project for later. For now, you know, fail. Plan to fail. Like work on smaller projects, or if you work on big projects, don't make it your dream project. If it is your dream project, you'll realize pretty quickly, oh, and you'll get a new dream project. Whatever it is, yeah, you don't want to stall it happening because your early work's never going to match your taste. So that's why I said today I thought it'd be an interesting thing just to talk about making things as quickly as possible, or don't try and hold yourself up. In another video, I also talked about the pots analogy from the book Art and Fear, where a class got split in two at the start of a term, and they were in a pottery class. And one half of the class, their job was make one perfect pot, and the other half of the class was make 40 pots. Doesn't matter if they're all crap, you just have to make 40 pots. And obviously, the outcome was the people who had to make 40 pots, by about the 35th pot, they were making perfect pots. These people never made anything. They overthought it. They couldn't come up with anything as a group. And of course, they weren't going to make a perfect pot on their very first pot. And so, yeah, and there's something to be said about quantity versus quality. You don't want to be just cranking out crap. There's always got to be some sort of incentive or some sort of goal in your learning journey as you make things. So like, and a lot of the time it's just, I want to express myself. I want to express myself better. This one, I want to express myself better again. And eventually you get to a point where you just express yourself. That's just what you're doing. And so, yeah, so I think, maybe you're not a beginner, maybe you've been doing this a long time, but I think there's always room for improvement. And I think looking at any project like this will be a challenge. How's this going to challenge me? How am I going to improve on this? Is an important kind of attitude or mindset to have going into any creative work. But yeah, I definitely think when you're a beginner on something, you want to plan to fail, and you want to fail fast, and you want to work through those things reasonably quickly. Now, a good example for me is I've never really worked on short films. We kind of went straight into making features, idiotically, because our first feature we thought this would be a masterpiece, and turns out it wasn't. And neither was our second, neither was our third, and neither was our fourth, and neither was our fifth. It took quite a long time to realize, like, and our abilities got kind of to where our taste was, but it's like what you would dream you could do still, it's out of reach by the time you've failed a few times. Yeah, in another video I'll talk about how you learn across projects, but in more depth. But basically, the important thing is just know when you're a beginner, your taste isn't going to match what you can do. And the best way for your taste to match, your abilities here, like for your abilities to reach your taste, is to just make projects, make as many projects as you can. And as you go, your taste might evolve, which is a good thing because it just means you're, broadening your overall perspective of whatever the medium is that you're working in. So yeah, I don't really, it's not necessarily advice. It's funny because it is advice I'd give to a lot of my students where they'll say, oh, I've got the perfect thing. And I'd be like, great, just know it's probably not going to be perfect. And I don't, you don't want to be the bearer of bad news, and you also don't want to naysay. You want to encourage people to be amazing and do amazing things. And I say, yes, go do it. Go do it straight away. But the big thing that I think is worth always noting is that, yeah, like focusing on the process early on is important. And you can worry about the product and what you have to say later. That is what I would say. So, yeah, I think if you are thinking about beginning anything, say you're thinking about beginning dance, to think that you could go and be the lead dancer in like Swan Lake immediately off the bat, like I'm going to put on my own one-person show of Swan Lake, like you can do that. But when you watch the video back, you're probably like, oh, my dancing's really not the Swan Lake. Or same thing if you're doing hip hop, or same thing if you're doing something else. Like, it's like if you work on a few small dance numbers, like get a camera, shoot the dance numbers, and then think, how many of this next one? Oh, I'll fix my arm movement. I don't know about dancing. But yeah, going back to what I was saying with short films, like we made a lot of features, but I never really worked on short films. We made one short for the 48-hour film festival once, and that was so stressful, so stressful. I think it was like an arbitrary deadline, but oh my goodness, it pushed me and Kenny to our limits. I remember we spent like the first 24 hours out of the 48 figuring out what we were going to write, because we just weren't in the practice of cranking out stories quickly. We were used to letting stories incubate and care about what we were going to say, And so it was something we hadn't practiced. And it's like anything, if you haven't practiced it, how are you possibly going to expect to be good at it? And so, yeah, so I have said earlier in a couple of videos that I'm interested in making a short film this year. I've just said one. But I mean, getting started with short film, just because, to be honest, I feel like on YouTube with these videos, like I'm not minding making these videos, and if you're watching them and enjoying them, a few people have commented and said that they were enjoying them, so that's good. That's a bit of motivation to keep going. But I really think I'd rather be making narrative work. Like I'm on leave in a town where I don't really know a lot of people, so I can't really line up actors. Maybe I could do the whole act against myself narratives. I've never tried that either, and that could be my new thing that I try. Maybe I need to crank out 15 or 20 of those. I don't know. Like I'll do one to start with, see how I go, reassess, and that's the thing too. You don't want to make a goal. Like I said, I'm making 100 of these videos in 100 days. And it's mainly because that takes me to the end of the year. It just happened to be the day that I started. It was 100 days until the end of the year, till the 31st of December. And yeah, I thought, well, I've never talked to camera before. I've been a teacher for a decade. And then before that, I worked in film for 11 years. So I've done film and I've done teaching with humans, but I've never done talking to a camera. So I thought, well, if I do a lot, then I'm going to learn how to present to the camera. I'm going to learn how to, not look and feel like an idiot. That's another video as well, probably. About how weird it is talking to a camera when you're completely on your own. Because I have no crew people here. I could probably get out my phone and shoot what I can see on the other side of me. Let me do this. I'll do a little insert. I've never done this in any of my videos, so we're breaking new ground today. I'm at like the back of a park. It's like the Botanical Gardens. So that's what's filming me right now. You can kind of see the screen up there. And if you go around this way, it's like this. The park is that way, so it's the Botanical Gardens of this town. So yeah, I'll put this away now. But you can see, like, I'm just filming completely on my own, and it's a new skill. I've never done this. Just be a one-man band, shoot on your own. So maybe I can try that in narrative. That could be a fun thing that comes from me in this video. Maybe I'll make a few of these, but I certainly wouldn't say I'm going to make 20 of them. Like, you make one and then you reassess. How did that go? What could I fix in this? And then you make another. Oh, what can I do better in this? Oh, how is this not what I expect out of a short film? And the goal would be to try to get to the quality I expect from a short film, shooting it on my own, if that was the medium that I was going to give a go, or, the kind of format that I was going to give a go. And even this format, it's like, I don't know. I'd love to know in the comments if you think it's weird that I walk in at the start and walk out at the end. It's like, I'm one person, so I'm just going to leave it in. That's another idea for a video, is talking about AI. I'm just going to make a note. On camera, sorry, I'm wasting your time. I apologize in advance. AI and learning with each project. Okay, I'm going to make more than one video today because I had the weekend off. And I was ahead, so I'm like not really behind, but I'm going to make a few videos. So I might even do this in the next video. But yeah, I think here's what I'd say to you. Don't be precious about your early projects, but start. I think just start now. And that's probably what I would call this video. Just start now. Because if wait until it's perfect or wait until your ability matches your taste, you're never going to make anything. Or if you do, when you make it, you're going to be depressed and then you might never make anything again. Like so many people I've seen over the years who've made their first film and then gone, oh, that was terrible. And then, oh, maybe I'm better off as something else. And then they move on to something else because it didn't work out. But it's like, I think just managing expectations, like if you expect it to be bad, then it's okay if it's bad. Like, who cares? And to be honest, I mean, when I was a teacher of film for 10 years and I still am. I'm just on long service leave from work. But yeah, it's like I love seeing beginning student work because it's so easy to help them improve with their next project. And if you can foster that kind of concept of like, it's not about the end result, it's about the process. And the more you enjoy the process, the more you participate, the more you throw yourself into the process, the more you're going to get out of it. Like it's the process that's enjoyable. Like me making this video right now, me setting everything up and stuff, that's the enjoyable part. Like once it goes onto YouTube, I have no control over what it does. And like, I mean, the learning's already happened. The improvement at presenting on camera has already happened. The getting my workflow onto the computer, it's already happened. Like all that stuff's getting refined each time to make it that I can set up a video faster. I can edit a video faster. I can color correct a video faster. I can edit. No cuts in any of these videos. But, the rendering still takes quite a while on my computer. It takes about 4 hours. I'm using a slightly slower Mac. But, it's fine because then you get 4 hours to go work on other things. But yeah, I would say, whatever area you want to get started in. And if you haven't made a film in a while, if you've, like me, here I am 20 years since I made my first feature film. And you'd think, okay, at the rate I started, which was two finished in 2005, or two, finished productions in 2005, because we started writing in 2004 for the first one, and the second one didn't get done until 2006. But yeah, at that rate, what's that? 2 a year or 1.5 a year, over the course of, what's it been, 20 years. So, well, it's literally been 20 years. 2004 we started, so kind of almost 21 years. But we had a proper screening in November of 2005. So it's 20 years since then, because it's October now, of 2025. So basically 20 years. And yeah, if I'd done a film a year, I would have had 20 feature films. But I don't. I have 3 finished feature films out of 5 feature film productions. And all those were done by 2010. So for the last 15 years, I've done nothing. It was just those 5 years and then I kind of burnt out. I talked about burnout in another video, so you can watch that one if you want. I didn't probably link talking about burnout to burning out, but maybe I'll talk about that another day on something like making too many videos too fast or whatever. I talked about it a little bit. Anyway, yeah, I think if you are going to get started, don't worry about burnout. Don't worry about anything. Just try to consistently produce stuff. And it's low stakes. It doesn't matter. If it's bad, it doesn't matter. Like you will learn as you go. And eventually your ability will meet your taste. So yeah, I think that's all I really need to talk about today. I just knew it applied to me when I started. And I learned it. My goal before we even made the first feature was make 10 of these things. Because maybe it was after the first one because I realized this is terrible. And I did say I will talk about my premiere of my first film at some point. And I'll definitely talk about it in the documentary. But yeah, it was at that point I was like, okay, so we're not going to make a masterpiece off one film. Let's make 10. Let's make one a year for a long time. And I've said this in another video too, that if I was a billionaire, I would make a film every year with my friends. I've been saying that for a long, long time. So, but this isn't making a film. This is making content. And this is what I'm doing while I'm on leave and everyone else is at work. So maybe that can be the goal for like 2026 or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'd say try to make a lot of things when you're starting out, because the first thing you make is going to be average, and try and get those bad things out of your system as quickly as possible. I'll extend on this in the next video where I talk about what you learn when you're working on projects. But yeah, for now, my lesson is right now, go do something. And here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I'm going to take action on this. Right after this today, I'll shoot some videos. I'm going to go home tonight and I'm going to write a script for a film that stars just me with myself. And I'm going to make one. Why not? And because I would rather this channel have only narrative work on it. I don't really want to have to make content like this and people start loving me for content. But at the same time, I wanted to share my process, because that's one thing I've never done. That's why I'm making this documentary, to share the process of 20 years and show how maybe if I shared more, I wouldn't be a failed filmmaker. I'd be a hugely successful filmmaker. I don't know. I mean, I love my life, but yeah, on paper, anyone would look at what I've done and gone, failed, tried, failed. And so, yeah, for this new thing, like working on the doco and doing YouTube while I'm on my leave, like I just wanted to share my process. So maybe that is shooting myself in the foot, because having a channel with 30 narrative short films on it would bring people who want to see short films, whereas having a channel with 100 videos like this of me just talking about ideas related to a failed filmmaking career, maybe that's going to attract people, I don't know what, like who want to have a filmmaking career, which I'm not less interested in. Well, I want to make narrative films, but I'm sharing my process of that while I work on this documentary. So, and I've started working on the documentary script to kind of get a sense of how it's all going to come together. But yeah, today, as part of, ooh, that was a big ant. It's funny, in so many videos I have mosquitoes biting me and ants on me and stuff. But yeah, as part of that, so my goal is write a script for just me to be in a film together with myself. And what's your goal? I'd love to know in the comments. What are you going to do off the back of this? If you've been sitting on making up a dance or making up recording an album or learning an instrument or whatever it is you've been thinking, oh, I'd love to do that because I want to be as good as wherever your taste is, well, your ability might be here. That's okay. Like you're going to reach the point of self-expression after enough projects. All right, that'll do for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, I don't know how many I'm up to at this point, but I think this is the 15th video, so still got another 85 videos to go. So I'd love for you to subscribe, come on the journey with me as I make 100 videos, finish a documentary, and just, go reflect on 20 years of creativity as I move into the next 20 years of creativity. Can't wait to hear from you in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.